This is the BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. The Greek elections have been won by the governing centre-right New Democracy Party. Its leader, the Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, described the victory as a political earthquake. Nick Beake reports from Athens.
Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis is in a much stronger position than the pollsters predicted. He said the people had given him a clear mandate to govern for another 4 years. It seems most Greeks felt he was best placed to steer the economy, which is growing, while support fell away for Alexis Tsipras' left-wing Syriza, which was asking for a return to power. Mr Mitsotakis is unlikely to want to enter into coalition talks today, but rather push for fresh elections in about a month, where an updated system with bonus seats for the leading party could finally secure him an outright majority.
The commander of Ukraine's ground forces says he's visited the front line near Bakhmut, which Russia claims to have captured after months of fighting. General Oleksandr Syrskyi said Ukrainian troops were attacking on the flanks of the ruined city, aiming for a tactical encirclement. Our Kiev correspondent James Waterhouse has this analysis.
What Ukraine is trying to do is two things, I think. Firstly, it's clear the reason they haven't given it up without what has become a bloody fight is because they have inflicted extraordinary losses on the Russian side, upwards of 20,000 according to the West. That's not to say Ukraine hasn't suffered its own devastating losses. It has, but it seemed to be an acceptable level for Kiev in drawing Russian forces in one area ahead of an anticipated counteroffensive. But the second thing it's trying to do is frame any potential withdrawal, which it's resisted to date, in the right way. They do not want this to appear like any kind of defeat.
All football matches have been called off in El Salvador following the deaths of 12 people in a crash at the country's main stadium. At least 500 others were injured. Our America's regional editor Leonardo Rocha reports.
The incident happened on Saturday evening during a league match at São Salvador's Cuscatlan Stadium, gathering two of the country's most popular clubs, Aliança and FAS. The authorities say many fans had been sold fake electronic tickets, which caused delays at the entrance. Dozens of supporters were late, rushed towards the terraces after the match had already begun, and were crushed against a closed gate. The match was suspended immediately, and players from both sides intervened to try to restore calm.
Joe Biden is to hold talks with the US House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Monday after a phone conversation signalled progress on debt limit negotiations. Mr McCarthy said the call had been productive, but that the two sides were still apart. It's a break from days of sometimes heated rhetoric. Republicans want spending cuts to pass legislation on lifting the debt ceiling in Congress. BBC News. The US city of Minneapolis is to pay $700,000 to the children of a man shot dead by police while they were locked inside two squad cars and prevented from intervening. Police gunned down Chiasa View in 2019 after he fired a rifle at officers from the porch of his home. The siblings say they told police their father had mental health problems and spoke little English. Heavy fighting has continued in the Sudanese capital Khartoum, as well as in the city of Nyala in the western Darfur region. This comes hours after the Sudanese army and the rival paramilitary Rapid Support Forces agreed to a ceasefire, which is meant to start late on Monday. Under the US-Saudi mediated agreement, both sides committed to ensure that humanitarian aid can reach the millions who need it. A spaceship carrying Saudi Arabia's first female astronaut to the International Space Station has taken off from Cape Canaveral in Florida on a private chartered flight organised by the Elon Musk-owned company Axiom Space.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff, Falcon 9. Go Axiom.
Together we expand what is possible in low Earth orbit. Ad Astra and Godspeed AX2.
Rayana Barnawi, a stem cell researcher, and her colleague Ali Al-Karni are the first Saudi astronauts in decades. John Schaffner, a former racing driver, is also on board. Axiom has not revealed how much tickets for its second ever private mission have cost. A British study suggests that elephants particularly enjoy the presence of visitors to zoos. Studying papers on dozens of captive animal species, the researchers found that public feedings and large visitor numbers prompt a reduction in elephants' repetitive behaviours that are associated with boredom. BBC News.